So my topic for today's presentation is software monetization, and this is how the agenda looks like. We're going to start with the top challenges that software vendors face in today's world when they go out to do business. We're going to talk about each challenge in detail and would understand the consequences if those challenges are not addressed. And then we'll talk about how SafeNet can help software vendors address those challenges. We will talk about design philosophy of our solution, our technology. I plan to do a demo for you guys, but unfortunately my laptop does not have the serial port, and hence we cannot run the demo because demo would require a software installation and other components which is not there on this laptop. But I took a screenshot at the last minute because I thought that showing you the translation from concept to how it works, the topic, digest the technology that we are talking about. And of course at the end of the session we'll have Q&A. So these are the top challenges faced by software vendor. The first one is talking about revenue leakage due to piracy and illegal distribution of the software. The second one is really talking about protecting the software intellectual property against reverse engineering and people performing hacking attempts on the application. Then we'll talk about how to achieve product versatility and business agility, which really helps software vendors to grow their business, to adapt to the changing market needs. We'll talk about each one in detail. And then last but not the least, we are going to talk about the overall life cycle of license or entitlement for your customers. Let's get started with the first one. So the revenue leakage due to piracy. I guess we all understand what piracy is. Piracy with regards to music, piracy with regards to videos, piracy with regards to software. But perhaps we are not aware of the revenue lost due to piracy, and we will see that figure in a moment. So basically, the other cause of revenue leakage is really the compliance issue, license compliance issue, where and this happens when you have paper license in place, where customers, they're using your application, your software, your product, and they misuse the licensing terms which are written on the paper, and this could be intentional and unintentional. And when it is unintentional, basically keeping honest people honest, people don't realize, the software organization who is using your software, they don't realize that there is a misuse of the product, of the software, until audit happens, and then only they realize the legal obligation. So this is a report from Business Software Alliance, and this indicates that the estimated value of software pirated in 2011 was around 63 billion US dollar. So that's huge revenue lost due to piracy. This one is talking about the protection of software intellectual property by attempting reverse engineering techniques, and this especially applies to the applications which are developed in Java or .NET, because we all understand the value that Java and .NET platform brings to the software development industry. But at the same time, it also brings a few vulnerabilities that can be exploited by hacker. And let's try to understand why people do reverse engineering. There could be many reasons, some of them are constructive and some of them are destructive. So let's talk about the destructive reasons. So the first one is really understanding how the software works, how a particular feature works, getting into the code, understanding business logic, and understanding the algorithm, the core algorithm which is driving your application, which is the differentiator from your competitor. And typically, the reverse engineering attempt for destructive cause is done by your competition, because they would like to understand the features that you have introduced, how the feature was written, if there is any core algorithm, how the algorithm works. And the idea is very simple, that they want to introduce the similar feature, or maybe they want to enhance that feature and come out in the market and compete with you. So that's one reason for attempting reverse engineering. The other one is tampering the software, and if there is any, I won't call it a weak, but rudimentary licensing system well in place, then, and if it is weak, then the attempts, the reverse engineering attempts are made to really, get into the code, break the code, and remove those license checks. And once it is done, the resultant application runs without a license, which again motivates or promote pirates to do illegal distribution of your application. I mean, we all can realize that this really leads to losing your competitive edge. Again, this reports from BSA indicates that 57% of the worldwide users, they admit that they're using pirated software. Next one is how do a software vendor achieve product versatility and business agility. I mean, this is to overcome the other challenge, which is coming from limited feature bundling, and the challenge of the inability to innovate new pricing models for your customer base. And what does it mean to you? It's really the inability to offer software flexibility, inability to offer flexible pricing. And I'll give you an example. Let's assume that you have a customer who is asking for not all the features, but limited feature set that they are interested in. And the way they want to pay for that, they're not comfortable paying upfront, but they are more comfortable, paying annually or over a period of time, quarterly. That's the customer that you face, and you should have the ability to cater to such a customer. There could be another customer who asks for a different licensing model or different pricing model, where they're comfortable paying on a usage basis. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to introduce a pay-per-use model, and they're asking their vendor to support pay-per-use model. So you, as a software vendor, should have the ability to cater to all these requirements. And so you'll realize that once you have the capability of offering multiple packages, by packaging different features and creating multiple software packages, product packages, and be able to price those packages differently, based on the customer needs and the market, then I think I'll tell you that you have a higher chance of winning customers over competition. So you are really providing flexibility to your customers to pick and choose what feature set they want to use, and how they want to pay for it. So that's and you can innovate new licensing model to support new pricing models. The other thing is talking about moving from the traditional or conventional software delivery model, where conventionally the software is delivered as a DVD, or the software vendor can provide a download for their customers to download, install it, and start using it. But with the introduction of cloud, things are changing. The delivery model is changing. The customer preferences are changing. They may prefer to consume software as a service rather than setting up the infrastructure, installing it, and then start using it. So you should have the ability to support different licensing models, to support different business models when you are moving from on-premise model to SaaS model. And another report from SIIA indicates that more than 1/3 of software vendors have lost revenue to limited flexibility of licensing models. So this is something that the industry experts are saying. Now let's look at how SafeNet can help software vendor address these challenges. The first challenge about protecting the application against piracy, you're securing your revenue, which is otherwise losing due to illegal distribution of the application. So we help software vendor by providing technology where they can bind the application with a license key, and the license key could be in the form of a hardware USB dongle, or it could be a software license key. By nature, software license key would be machine specific. So this is the USB dongle. This is not a flash drive. This is the USB dongle that can be used as a license key. So as a software vendor, you can protect your application and bind it to this hardware or to a software license key, which means that when the end user they want to use their application, they need to plug in this dongle on their machine to be able to run the application. So that's how you're locking the application to a license, and which is, again, you can understand. People can still distribute your application, but because it is in a protected form, whoever gets it, and if they want to use it, they need to have a license. And the license can only be delivered by the software vendor, by you guys. So that's how you secure your revenue, and you ensure that you're getting paid for each and every copy of your application which is lying out there. The second challenge with regards to protecting the software intellectual property, this is again served by offering you encryption tools and set of APIs and different programming languages that you can incorporate in your application and achieve application protection against reverse engineering. And by the way, this is not just limited to the Windows binaries. The encryption is not just limited to the Windows binaries, which are in the form of exe, in the form of DLL, or if it's a Java binary, then you have jar and var files as your deliverable to your customers. You can always protect them for the Windows environment. And if you have binaries on Macintosh, or you have binaries that are targeted for Unix flavors, then you can always protect them also through our encryption tool. The third one is how to achieve product versatility and business agility. We understand. So this is talking about the ability to offer your software in a flexible manner where your customer can pick and choose, and the ability to have different licensing models. One customer would ask for, okay, I need to run a trial before I make a decision whether I need to buy this software or not. So you should have the ability to provide trial licenses, time-based licenses, perpetual license when the customer decides to pay and purchase the software. You should have the ability to provide concurrent licensing. We also call it floating license or network license. So these are the different licensing models that are supported by our technology, and you can always integrate that within your own application and achieve product versatility and business agility. And the last one is managing the life cycle of your customer entitlement. So once the customer has bought your product, you have generated the entitlement, they have activated the entitlement, they have consumed the license, you have all the information about this customer, how they're using your software, what all features they're using, and you can track the renewals. If the customers are running trialware, then the sales team can proactively track the renewal and connect with the prospects, solicit feedback with regards to their experience, with regards to any improvement, and then try to convert that prospect into a customer. So that can be achieved by a centralized license management system or entitlement management system. Let's talk about the design philosophy of our technology, which says protect once, deliver many, and evolve often. The fundamental behind this design philosophy is that we have separated the R&D process from business process. So R&D is responsible for, of course, the product development and integrate protection mechanisms within the application, and that the business team is actually responsible for the selling. And then evolve often means adapting to the changing market needs, adapting to the changing customer needs with regards to licensing, with regards to packaging, with regards to new software delivery model, that is SaaS. Let's take a look at each step. So protect once is the first stage of software monetization, where typically this is done by the software developers or the R&D department. And here they are responsible to protect the application and to protect the features. So at this stage, these guys don't need to know how this product gonna be sold. The only thing they need to know is what feature to protect, and of course, how to encrypt the binary. Yeah, and to be able to do that, we offer automatic tool that provides encryption layer around the actual binary, exe, DLL, jar, var, or other flavors which are supported by Unix or Macintosh. And we also provide licensing APIs for different programming languages, so that you can achieve feature level licensing. You can embed the license check at each feature, at the source code of each feature, and compile and build it with our library to get the resultant application is now licensed when it is executed, and when a specific feature is when the user is trying to execute a specific feature, the license API, the license check API would be executed and will look for the valid license. So that can be achieved. So this is basically protect once. So once the application is protected, once the product is ready to be delivered in a protected form, then the business need would decide how to bundle my features, how to create multiple product packages, what kind of licensing model I want to introduce: trial, floating, pay-per-use, perpetual, execution counter based, that the application should only run for 100 times. So these things can be incorporated at this stage by the business team. So business team is the one who decides, and this is executed by the fulfillment team typically. Evolve often is talking about once the product is delivered, they are using it, then you as a software vendor should have the ability to track who is using your software, what feature are they using, how long the feature is being executed. So that information, if you have as a software vendor, you can generate reports and you can build business intelligence, so that that can drive your business decisions. The executive team can drive the business decision where to put my R&D effort. If there is a popular feature which is being used by the customer base, then you probably want to add more value around that feature, and you may want to sell that feature at premium price. So that's something that you can do with Evolve Often stage with the help of the centralized licensing management system. And you can always make changes to your product catalog. You can always do mix and match of different features and create product packages on the fly. And this does not require R&D intervention. So you don't have to go back to R&D. Hey, I have a customer who's looking for trial of 30 days. Please create a product package for it. No. So the basis of our design philosophy that we have separated these two processes. So once the R&D is protected, now business team should have the flexibility to sell it in different ways, in different forms, in different at different price points. I wanted to run a demo. Unfortunately, we cannot do that, but I am going to share this screenshot with you. This is one of the tools that we have, the protection tools that we have. We call it envelope. So as the name suggests, it envelopes the binary file and create multiple encryption layers over your binary file. Quickly, we're gonna look at it. So you can achieve application protection in a few seconds, by the way, and still you achieve the highest level of protection. We use industry standard algorithm called AES with 128-bit of encryption key, and this encryption key is stored in a license key. So license, again, if it is a hardware, then the encryption key always remains inside the hardware. If the license key is software, then we secure the AES key inside the license key in a secure manner, so it cannot be read by hacker or the cracker community. So you input the file. I mean, you simply browse through the binary file that you want to protect. You specify the output file. This feature ID you can just think of as an encryption key with which this application is going to be protected. And as you can see, when I took the screenshot, I was trying to protect a .NET application. So you can see at the lower side, all the functions which were exposed by this binary are listed here. And now you can pick and choose at which function you want to apply the encryption and code obfuscation and string encryption as well. But you have to be very careful when you are protecting functions, because it's our tendency, let me protect everything. But then that may impact your performance. So the security and performance never go hand in hand. You need to do trade-off between the security and the performance. So we advise that you protect those functions where your business logic resides or where you have written the core algorithm of your application. So whichever you feel that, okay, if you lose this part of your application, you lose the competitive edge. You should protect those functions only. So the beauty is that you can achieve function level protection at the function level, which includes encryption of the function along with encryption of any string which is there, and also code obfuscation at the same time. As you can see on the left hand side, we have the ability to not just protect Java or .NET, but we have the ability to provide strong application protection for Windows 32-bit application as well. We have been doing this for 30 years now. I guess that's all I have. I appreciate you guys, ask questions if you have. By the way, we are exhibiting at booth number 21. You can come there. We can talk more about software protection and licensing, and you can get a chance to win Kindle tablet as well. Questions? Please go ahead.
You are dealing only with the protection, software protection or licensing parameter only, or also dealing with the OSS clearance?
I'm sorry?
OSS, that is open source software.
And
open source software, it depends on multiple licenses.
yeah.
It's coming under that. Because the topic is much more generic. How to monetize your software, revenue, and improve your customer experience.
Yes.
But what I feel is it's more specific to the protection.
Protection, yeah.
But
protection and offering multiple licensing options, offering your customer base with an option where they can pick and choose what feature they want to use, how they want to pay for it. So this improves your customer experience as well.
But the appropriate term might have been production and licensing.
Yeah.
To be frank, this is more generic term, and what I was expecting totally different. And so that's
okay. Well, we can definitely talk more 101.
Coming back to the point what I told first, deal with other parameters also, that what kind of licensing is to use with respect to OSS approval and other parameters?
We see open sources, we don't really deal with it. We basically, our objective is very clear, very focused, that we work with software vendors who are developing application, commercial application, which they gonna sell, and we gonna address all those challenges, because once the application is developed or they are into the phase of application development, these questions gonna come from their development team, from their business team, then how they're gonna sell, how they're gonna package, how they're gonna protect. So we basically are focused to working with the software vendors.
Yeah, I got it, but if you look into that, the OSS approval also much more closer to it. Assume that being a developer, I might be using open source.
Open source, yeah.
But I don't know what kind of license is coming in there.
So, yeah.
Release it, I will be in trouble.
Right.
That's one of the areas we're trying to compare with the government.
Okay, but normally when you use open source technology, they have a paper license agreement with you that you cannot distribute part of, some of them you cannot generate a commercial product. I think they have their set of licensing policies in place.
Each one has its own.
Yeah, right. The product management team, or coming from leading some project or product development. Okay. So do you? Oh, good, great. Okay. So we have a very interesting offering for software vendors who are delivering their software as a service, and I'll be more than happy to talk more on SaaS, single cloud with you 101. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, and yeah, please visit us at booth number 21.